We are live.
7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop.
Cruising the
Right.
street.
It's-
Hey.
we can go down a rabbit hole with that song.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, good night, everybody. Hi.
Good
We are
night.
Hey
live. We are
guys,
Good
good
night.
here.
night. What's up?
Good
What's
night,
up?
good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Oh, shoot. I need to post this.
Check.
We're
What's
live.
I
up,
will caught
ladies?
up.
Facebook. All right.
Listen, all you know Royal Castle have no pepper sauce. Let me discuss this quick before
What?
podcast start.
Hey,
Marcus.
Marcus.
Hey. Listen, so I
Give me
roll up.
the for this.
I on the road today, right? The girl on the
Uh-huh.
road. Today was a real busy day, hectic, right?
Right.
Cool,
Right.
cool.
Right.
Lunchtime reached now, me and my brethren on the avenue, like what we get. So hear me, try not to be a difficult woman now. So I say,
Yes.
whatever you eating today, I eat it. Me never fighting you. Whatever you eating, I eat it, right? So just pull up my Irie bites, but my face twists up now. So he's like, Kila, you don't want this. No, I want this. This one. Nah, I tell you, I eat it. When you eat it, we eat it, I buy some Kila. You can't even unbuckle it, but you never come on. I was like, no, we're doing this. He stopped. He hold his staring, he watch my hand. Nah, Kila, what you want to eat? What you want to eat? I was like, I feel about Royal Castle. Yeah, all right, we're going Royal Castle, drive down
Right.
the avenue, pull up by the gracious Royal Castle van dog. Watch me, I done ready for this. Go. Nobody, you know what irritates me about this whole experience? Not a sign up. Royal Castle, we don't pretend. We're not there for your chicken. We're not there for your chicken. We're not there for your chicken. Your chicken not top tier. And if it's about chicken, I'll buy KFC, right? Let me be real. But I'm there for your pepper sauce. No, that's what it is. That's me, right?
Damn.
If you know you don't have this precious thing that you already champion with, proper sign. Hi, Kishel, put up a sign. So, no sign, your girl order she food, go to
Right.
dress it and seeing ketchup and mustard only. The ghetto. Excuse me, you all have pepper sauce? And get attitude. No, we don't have pepper sauce. I was like, wait. Hold up. One, no, they should have put up a sign, so I would have known not to buy this food today.
You should have seen my rebites.
Yeah, boy, and then secondly, don't get me no attitude if you have no pepper sauce. Pipe down. Don't pretend that you don't know why we're here. We're here for the pepper sauce. So I put up my status only to realize and find out that all over Trinidad don't have pepper sauce in Royal Castle. Shut it down. Close all the doors. Done with that.
Borders open back. Borders open. Pepper sauce at the export. Borders open back.
Listen, somebody tell me that City Gate have. Right? So right now, hear how I feel and how hurt I was by this experience today, right? I go and walk with a jar in my bag tomorrow, a bottle. And I pop in City Gate and all my pepper sauce back. Pepper sauce I couldn't. And I want for me, I'm a virgin. I want both that we share. I'm not even buying no chicken tomorrow. Like, dog, I buy this chicken yesterday, so this is really within my rights to pump this pepper sauce into my jar right now.
Yesterday.
And leave bad fries.
No,
Exactly.
Daddy, I can't do that because then we training them bad. No,
I love it. I love the energy already.
Welcome everybody. Good
Joking. She really going in Royal Castle for this pepper
Dog.
sauce.
Let me have it tongue tomorrow, and I
Take
even
pictures.
everybody
I want
don't
to
mind
see.
me. I just come for my share of the pepper sauce from yesterday.
If
Yes,
there's no pictures or no video, it never happen, eh?
Yeah, I agree
Nah,
with that.
are they trying to incriminate me? Are they feel they do it?
Exactly.
This not at all.
No,
Bad
because
enough
you
I don't know.
put it
You talk
in
like this.
Nice energy, ladies. Nice energy. We start off hot. No pun intended.
Yes.
We start
Oh,
off
God.
saucy. Peppery. We start off.
No. The chicken tastes off today. The chicken. I was like, we started
Because the
critiquing
vibes,
her.
the energy. It's the energy.
The pepper
It's the
sauce
energy.
was missing. I was
Also,
like,
okay, so now we understand. We tell we earlier, we get it.
You get
That's
it?
reason to that's reason
now
to
I
vex.
tell you, that's how I mean. Hi, Christopher and
Good evening.
Anne Marie. Good evening, Auntie Sherry. Good evening.
Everybody. YouTube in the house.
Yes.
Hey.
YouTube in the house.
Right. Nice.
All right, I'll then go that roller castle thing after tonight. I feel like I get it out there. I vent openly about it. It really upset me. You know, I
gosh.
feel like them don't even put black pepper in that chicken to season it up. I didn't taste no seasoning today. That food was off. The fries taste
Nah,
off.
boy.
Them curly
Nah,
fries,
boy.
nah, it was off. It was off.
Oh, there
That
we going and start now. We 5 minutes in. Let me start.
Let me do this countdown, please.
Let me start. Let me do my countdown. All
Let's do
right,
this.
Olivia. See you when we come back.
All right. Welcome back. The energy high. It's Thursday, everybody.
Good night, people. Hey.
Let's talk about it. Sincerely, his story podcast. Good evening, one and all. Good evening to our
Good evening,
regulars.
good evening, good
Good
evening.
evening to my co-host. So let me start off with the vibe check. I'll allow my co-host to go. And yes, ladies, on the live, I want you to behave yourself. This is I need to make a disclaimer. Ladies on the live, this
Oh
is my
dear.
friend's husband.
Put it out there.
Good.
We behaving tonight.
I put it out there. Very well. So, vibe check.
Don't say I let
feeling
them
good
know.
other than you. Energy. I
All
feel
right.
alive. I'm ready for this conversation. Keela, can we have vibe check? How are you feeling?
Oh, yeah, I have a headache, but I hear and I watch my whole week. I'm waiting for this topic, and it's spicy. I'm ready.
Spicy like the sauce.
Hella spicy. Yes.
I did,
Hella
ladies. I
spicy,
did.
Jay.
Today was a nice day. Today
Good,
was a
good,
wonderful
good.
day.
Nice.
The vibe is high.
Good. Yes, the vibe
Yes.
is high. Jace, how are you feeling?
So me today, I ready. I real ready. Olivia?
What's
I
wrong
have to
today?
excuse me today because I might step on some people toes today. So I come in.
Unless she started.
Ooh.
She
The funny thing is
she
when I
start
run
early.
on the platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's take a sip for that. When I promote it on the platform,
Hey,
Right.
Danny, we
I
twinning.
tell people, I say the ladies say they're ready for the rumble, you know. I said I ready for the rumble.
Yeah.
I know to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
We ready.
I am one he.
Don't worry, though. You're safe, man. You're
We
safe.
love
You're
it.
safe.
We
I
love
am
it.
one he.
You're safe.
That's correct.
You're safe.
So, welcome to all our avid listeners, those who come back week after week. We appreciate you. Auntie Sherry says she reached fishy therapy session on a Thursday. Yes,
All right.
here.
Hey.
Today's topic. If you're following us, shameless plug. If you are following us on IG and Facebook, you know that today's topic is about conquering expectations, the
Oh.
relationship edition. We talking
How should
man
I say
and
it?
woman business.
Hey.
Right? So you know they usually say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Now, before we dive in, let me just how rude of me. Let me give Dali the opportunity to properly introduce himself. So that listen for our listeners who do not know you, please introduce yourself before we start the heat.
No problem. No problem. I am Dallison
Wait.
Charles, guys. Everybody knows me as Delhi. And as Delhi, everybody knows me as Delhi Man. I mean, famously, I would guess from Delhi Digest, an online virtual safe space community that I have created and that is present and active on Facebook and Instagram. My day-to-day, I have a corporate job, yes, but I am a behavioral therapist and a holistic life coach, and I work assiduously with men and women to help them just break through the different obstacles that cause them to underperform in the different aspects of their lives. We go to the root of the issues. So it's not just about, when people hear life coaching, sometimes they think the airy-fairy stuff. But what I do is that I blend, the behavioral psychology with the actual coaching methods and methodologies, and we bring it together. We go to the past, we explore what we need to explore, we dig up the unproductivity and we moving forward in the development of our growth mindset. So that's what I do. Some people might know me from the fellas, and the fellas is the show that I co-host with my brethren, Christopher Crossley and Garth Voza, every Monday at 8:30 p.m. on TV6. And yeah, plenty things going on. I have a long list of things, but tonight I am here. I am a co-host on Sincerely Street. I am here. Let's talk about it. Are you ready to
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk like
a little clap, man. I want to get a round of applause to that, man. I want to get a round of applause to that. Yeah, round of applause to that.
I love it. Yeah. Right, so we're talking men versus women. How expectations could damage your relationship. Correct. Let's be real. When I started off with the very common saying, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. We think differently, we act differently, and so are our expectations. And sometimes people enter into relationships with these set expectations, and guess what? The relationship goes nowhere. It's just sour. It's so traumatic. You experience all sort of unnecessary stuff just because your expectations are so erroneous that it damages the integrity of the relationship. You understand? So you all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. You all know what I'm talking about. Right? Kills. Anybody, feel free to jump on. Like, what are some of your personal expectations before we start to dive in? You know, we like
Lisa, you just said we hard. Lisa, what are you doing?
Lisa, no, we're not tired about pepper sauce. All right, go ahead.
Listen, I don't know where I am with expectations because I am still upset with Royal Castle and that pepper sauce, right?
Well, we
so, for me, in terms of expectations, I expect honesty and open communication. Communication is big for me, like huge. And so from the jump, I expect to have like some real open, honest conversations, just simply about what we want, where we heading, you know, that type of thing. I expect admiration and at least some level of interest. You must be interested, dog. Like, you had to want to know what I'm about, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So on the basics, and that's not surface level, like on the upper level of things, up top of my mind, that's what I want. Honesty, communication, admiration, interest. That's expectation. I just expect that if you and I in an intimate sort of space.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people ask for communication and everybody grown until it's time to communicate, but we ain't trying to go there too quick tonight.
No, we had to go there.
All right.
No, we're going to get there.
Everybody wants communication, right? I want somebody who will be open with me. I want somebody who will communicate with me, but then you start communicating and then you get pushed back.
Yeah.
What is that
or
about?
Shut down.
So I put Tim Dallison in the hot seat immediately because I love to say, say what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Well, say what's on your mind.
A little warm water never scare me yet. Yes, I say no on the hot seat.
I cannot.
But the funny thing is, right, what you're saying there is very, very true. I will tell you why. The reason is because communication, the underlying part of communication that we don't like to talk. You can have a lot of communication, and that communication is superficial, right?
Yes.
And then you can have the communication that goes below the surface, and you're really getting into the meat of things. But in order for you to experience that communication, you need to be vulnerable. And a lot of people, we're not there yet. You know, are we there yet? We're not there yet. So you recognize that a lot of people, when it comes to challenging somebody's style of communication, they turn and they tell you, well, I just talk, you know, and we just talk, and I don't know what more you want from me. No, you know exactly what more people want from you. They want vulnerability. Today, and vulnerability doesn't have to do with just you receiving from somebody the admiration and the interest and them telling you how much they love you. But it also requires you take kind of accountability for your wrong, saying sorry, things like I need help.
Right.
Yes,
Yes,
doing
yes,
those kind of
yes,
those kind of
Oh
definitely.
God,
statements, acknowledging
I had to get
I
this sound
was
effect
wrong.
again, man. Oh God, man, that's a next
Acknowledging
one.
I
Oh,
was
it's
wrong.
sound
Yeah,
effect.
come on.
Yes, talking
Right?
things tonight,
No,
man.
it's true. I mean, those are the kind of things when we talk about vulnerability in communication, right? Those are the kinds of
You're
things
right.
that we are talking about. And the funny thing is, especially coming from women, right? When women challenge a man and say that a man is not communicative enough, many men, we tend to think that the woman saying that they don't talk, And yes, you may talk about a movie. Yes, you might tell me how nice my food was, but she really is trying to understand what is going on with you. Like today, I was coming in with a coworker, right? And she
Right.
and I were driving, and I say, I am already preparing myself when I go home to have to talk about my day. And I say, but the funny thing is, me of me, I telling you, because I am an introvert at heart, I could come home, how was the
Right.
day? It was good. And I know,
And that's the other thing.
I know the scope of things that happen in my mind, and my general
Right.
assessment for today's activities is
was
good.
good.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
not what women prefer.
No.
Right?
We
What
need
women would
details.
love to do, they would
Right.
love to be involved in your experience as well.
Yeah.
Because
When a woman
Right.
asks
women
you,
like to talk. Women, if you ask a woman, how is her day? Listen,
Hey,
that could go on
details.
until next
From
week. You know?
breakfast all the way up until you walk through that door
Exactly.
2 minutes ago, you
she giving
getting
you
in
especially for
Yeah.
little wake up
Yeah.
together. She giving you details from the time she get up,
Yeah.
how she was feeling when she's
Correct.
lying on the bed. She didn't want to
Yeah.
come out of the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
Everything till the end. But men now,
Yeah.
we tend to give you
Just a little bit.
highlights or a general assessment. We give you a
Yeah.
final score.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't
women
feel
do.
like
Yes.
And
enough.
it's the expectations of the different type of expectations from women to men.
Yeah.
You
Correct.
understand?
Yeah.
A
But this is the
woman
funny thing with
expect
men.
that.
This is the
Yeah.
funny thing with men. We don't like to talk, but we like to know. We may not like to talk, but we like to know.
Explain.
And the funny
I
thing is
don't
that
like that.
if a
They
man,
sound like some muckles to
Right.
me.
if a man is caught off guard by something that has happened to a woman that has affected his ability to be a better boyfriend, be a better husband, be a better partner, or something has happened and he couldn't protect her, or just something that has transpired in her life and he now is feeling left out or feeling overlooked in his situation, he will feel that type of way because he wants to know.
Right.
And very often, a lot of us as men, we move a little entitled because we are accustomed now to our women over communicating, right? So
Right.
when you tell us everything, and then all of a sudden you're not telling us something, or all of a sudden when I ask you
Right.
how you doing, and you now giving me a general assessment, I good. It's at a wrap in your
Yeah.
brain like what good.
No, because
Oh,
that's
you really
exactly what you give us. Because if I start talking, you go and be like, we'll see it on all your face and they're like, get to the point.
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
the point of this? So
Exactly.
now I am
Yes.
conditioning myself to not know you because I don't know what happened in your day because you're not telling me, right? So now to just be
Yeah.
safe, when you say, Gills, how was your day? It was good. and
So now
this
you
go
hitting
and
me
upset
and
you.
me.
Right.
Now you
But this
hitting
go
me
and
and
be
me.
upsetting to you. So how we
And
supposed to
men,
win, Alia?
listen, and men hate when you hit them.
Yeah.
When I
Yes.
they
give
can't.
Don't
you,
hit me and me.
Listen!
Don't hit me and me, please.
They handle
cannot
it at
handle
all.
it. Like, so
can't,
I'm
they
to
can't.
you. So
So
I'm
I'm
to you.
So
So
I'm
yeah,
here.
That's
you
just
know.
that's just
No.
and that alone is just to show the expectations.
Expectation.
Expectations.
That's
Expectations.
all right. One of
And
the things
become bad
I think
communication.
Correct.
correct. One of the things I think men and women need to pay attention to in terms of communication is communication styles. What we generally do is give everybody a broad brush. So we assume that all women are chatty. The reality is all women are not chatty.
I'm not chatty.
I know some women who they wouldn't give you as much details as a regular woman would, right? They ain't trying to
True.
tell you from the time they open the eye till you walk through the door. But we
Correct.
just assume that and give it a broad brush and not pay attention to your partner's communication style.
Yeah.
Do you really understand how that
That's true.
person
It's
communicates?
true.
And I feel like you end up toting or you end up getting vexed because that person doesn't give you.
Yeah.
Can
So
we
you
also can we also say that not
Okay.
all men are taciturn and that there are men who talk as well? That's some talkative fellas out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
There's some
absolutely.
fellas very talkative out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they love the
Very.
attention. So
Yes.
all right, cool, good.
With
I
them.
should rock with
So
that.
It has some
so
out there.
my-
We are not going to hours.
Wow.
Daddy say like it so much of them that's why they were me and really encounter them in the with them.
No, but yeah, wait, let me be
Yeah.
real. Let me be real. I tell people, right, that men, a lot of people think that we don't talk because we're not emotional, right? But I tell people, get a man, find a man when he's engaged activities that he loves, and you will see the real side of that man. You will see how communicative he is, how emotional he is, how passionate he can get. But this is the thing.
Right.
Some women want that the same energy that you give to that,
To give
be
it to me
interested in
too.
that same
That's
way.
what I'm
Yeah, keep that same energy and
Keep
bring
it.
it to me. So why it is when you're watching a
Yeah.
football match, hey boy, yeah boy, take. And then when I come and ask you,
Noise.
what is your day? Good. Yeah, it was good. Cool.
Mhm.
Keep the same energy, fellas. Keep the same energy.
Thank you, Daddy.
Right.
Oh, you come now, man.
Yeah.
Daddy, what you think?
I
Daddy, what you
had to
think?
give him a we had to
Oh, gosh,
we had to
man.
do this too. Deli.
Yeah.
Deli.
As Gonna said, I love it.
Stacey,
Gonna-
in that comment, please, you can't be happy to see Pogba, but
But
everyone
talk to me.
What is
No.
that?
Yeah.
What's
What are you
that? What you
doing?
doing?
I like Bonnet.
Listen,
I like
please-
Bonnet. So you can't be happy to see Pogba, but you don't want to talk to me. I love it. I love it. It's
I love
true.
it, Bahar. Listen, and it's these expectations that ruins the relationship. You start to quarrel more. You start not feeling appreciated. You start
Yeah.
getting in your feelings, and everybody start getting selfish. And you vex, and I vex, and we don't understand each other. But we
Yeah.
learn these expectations from somewhere. We like so when Dali started, right? He said, "Oh, women are very talkative. Women are very expressive." We learn that from somewhere. We learn that a man is supposed to be manly, and a man
Be a
doesn't
man.
really show emotion. So if he just
Yeah.
say, "Yeah, I good," you're supposed to accept that. Where did we learn that from? Where did that come from? Where did these expectations come from? Jace, what do you think? Shed
Me,
a
I
little light on where.
definitely For me, I think it's definitely parents for one, because let me be real. Most of us come out from either a single parent home or we come out from marital homes, right? Either one or. And we
Right.
saw how our parents communicate.
Right.
We see,
Right.
especially in some marital homes, you see mommy nagging daddy all the time.
Right.
Nah, man, you this, you can't even do this in your house. Look at you,
Yeah.
I can't even put this up, blah, blah, blah. And then you have some homes, you have the father who telling you, look how
Yeah.
big and fat you is. I didn't marry you like this. I wanted you to be a
Right.
particular way. So we see this
Daddy, a little
from
abusive though.
yeah, and even that too, we even see abuse in the home like that. And then when some men goes into relationships, they think that the expectation is if she don't do something in time, I am going to slap her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's his expectation. If I don't have hot food on my table,
Yeah. Yeah.
expect to get a slap from me.
Or to be ball that. Like I hear
Or to
that.
be-
If anybody know me, I just
exactly.
don't buff me, you know. Watch.
Yeah,
I
some
tell you,
yeah,
it's a
some
buffalo.
trauma.
But some men, the slightest thing you would. No, yes, don't buff me. But I have some people who their way of communicating, if they are annoyed or angry, is to instantly go to that aggression. And as JC said, a lot of times we see that in the home and we see it as acceptable. Because if mommy
Exactly.
raised her
Right.
voice, daddy did what she wanted him to do. And if daddy raised his voice, everybody got in line. So then
Exactly.
subconsciously you accept that, if I want my partner to be in line or to do what I need them
Right.
to do, then let me ball behind them, as JC
Yeah.
say, hit them a slap. You
Exactly.
understand? And that just can't work.
You know,
And it's expectations
Correct.
from both sides, because it's
Yeah.
the father expecting the mother to be a particular way and to do certain things. And it's because she didn't do it,
Yep.
she deserve a slap. And it
As when
goes
the
to the
topic
same
of
thing.
parents,
Yeah.
as when the topic of parents, right? Something that I share, I love to share, with people. I tell them, as a young man in a home, your example is your
Right.
father, and your experience is your
Right.
mother. As a young lady in a home, your example is your mother, and your experience is your father. When I say experience,
That's the
it means
best
that
thing I ever heard.
you, as a young man, you watch your father to see what a man should do, and you watch a
Correct.
woman to see how that doing is experienced, how that doing is received.
Reaction.
And
Yeah.
you also get
Yeah.
your first taste of interaction with the opposite sex, right? From your mother, because she's
Correct.
supposed to be your first caregiver. So when you're observing your example and your experience interacting,
Yeah.
and you see a conflictive example, and you see a very meek or uber submissive experience working together, it reinforces for you that as a young man, you can be that way. And you could step outside of this home
Correct.
and you could carry that behavioral trait with you, become that, and somebody else must submit to that because your primary caregiver did that.
Yeah.
As a young woman
Yeah.
in the same
Exactly.
situation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you look at your example, is this woman who is so meek, who, as you all discussed in the last podcast, who doesn't have a voice and not able to speak up for herself, and you see this woman being uber submissive and receptive of abusive treatment,
Yeah.
and you see your experience is a man who is supposedly communicating love through abuse,
Yeah.
then you tell yourself, as much as they don't want to be that, you have the roots somewhere in you that
there.
you potentially could go out there and receive that as love, and that brings your standards down low. And I think that another one of the things that we tend to conflict, and we tend to try to use interchangeably, is this thing about expectations and standards. We feel it's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's not.
No,
And it's not.
correct,
It is not.
because
It is not.
expectation is the beliefs or the understanding of what treatment you should receive, right?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
what should happen in a situation. So, for example, as we've
Right.
said, you're in a relationship, my expectation is that we have daily communication. Now, standards speaks to the quality
Yes.
of the thing that is happening. So, if my expectation as a man is that I should be with a woman who could cook, and her best is a rice and corned beef,
Right.
she is meeting my expectation of, but she's not meeting my standards, because I find I should be getting a little pilau. I find that Sunday lunch is about a macaroni pie. How could you dare present Sunday lunch and it had no coleslaw? So it has standards now. It's
Come
the
on,
quality
certain
of what you want to experience, and your expectation is just what they want to experience.
And I
Yeah,
think we
exactly.
talk about something today. We use anger. Most of us, we display our displeased
Displeasure.
displeasure from expectations by choosing anger. And today I was reading
Right.
something from Tony Robbins, right? And to me, I think he
Right.
gave the best explanation of what expectations was. And he said that
Right.
expectations are what we want to happen in the future, right?
Right.
Certain actions we wish someone will take, or an event we wish would happen. When what we
Right.
expect to happen doesn't, we feel disappointed, sad, and even angry.
Yeah.
And that will
Yes.
explain why so many of us be like, "Ugh, I can't deal with this shit." Sorry, oh God, I almost cussed. I almost got to say something else. Right?
Just kill me. Go ahead.
I was gonna say something else. You know, and that's what has happened, because we just choose anger because from our society and the way how we grew up, we don't know anything else. We don't know how to deal with anything else besides being angry first and then dealing with the situation after.
And I feel
Yeah,
like we put
yeah.
anger on a pedestal. If you notice, a lot of times people boast about what they will do if they become angry. So we tend to say, I real nice, but you see, if
Correct.
you get me vexed, and there is a pride
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
we have associated with anger. And we need to unlearn that. There are so many other emotions that we have, so many
Correct.
other emotions that are
Yeah.
so beautiful with the human experience.
Yes.
Why do we always put anger
Anger.
on a glorified pedestal of don't let me get angry?
Yeah.
Like, no, I feel like anger is one of those emotions that you should be careful with. Like, I shouldn't want to get angry very quickly. I should be able to know
Yeah.
when I'm getting angry and be able to control that.
Sure.
and
Never
not
be the
cause
first
hurt.
response.
Right, because that's the emotion where we are
Correct.
most likely to cause hurt. So JC, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I would
Yes,
say some of the
yes,
reasons why we learn this or where we learn this, I say we learn this
Yeah.
from lack of understanding and education. I
Yeah.
say this all the
Uh-huh.
time. People just tell you to do
Yeah.
things that they don't even understand properly. Like
Yeah.
most times,
Right.
like Delison say, mixing up standards and expectations. Because Tanti Ethel down there, Tanti Ethel have 3 children.
That is
Yeah,
that time.
let me take it. Let me
That's
take
that
it
time.
back.
All the way back.
Let me take it back. So Tanti Ethel
Right.
was with Mr. Sir Johnny Loverboy, right?
Mm.
And both of them have
Okay.
3 children. But before, when
Right.
Tanti Ethel was out there and young and doing she things, Mr. Sir Johnny Loverboy, she knew he was who he was. And she still went with him.
Yes.
Let me say, for instance, Mr. Loverboy was a little hot man. And he
Yeah.
liked to dance when the night come, he liked to dance with plenty women.
How did I say the
Right.
village ram?
The village ram.
The
The
village
village
ram.
ram.
when you're
Right.
wild
So
out.
she know this was the
Power.
village ram. You know it's the village
You
ram you're
understand?
going wrong.
But because you passing your little punks to Mr. Sir Johnny Boy, you feel,
Yeah.
Mr. Sir, you expect Mr.
Correct.
Sir Johnny Boy to stop dancing with them women them in the
Yeah,
nighttime.
yeah.
You
No.
meet him doing that, you know he was doing that.
It's the
Exactly.
village ram. What
But
you
you know,
expecting?
Olia, that speaks to something deeper, you know, because the thing is, some people can listen to us there with that, what JC saying that and say, well, yeah, but she, you know, but she man and she gets she man thing and whatever the case is. My thing is, it's something deeper. And the depth for me is, what does she believe that she should receive in exchange for sex?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that too is one of the expectations, right? When it comes to this
Exactly.
whole male-female dynamic, that because there's an expectation and there's a belief that men, we want sex right through, right? So
Right.
they say that the
Oh,
average
come
man
on,
wants
people
sex
there.
right through. We have a high libido and we like to have sex right through.
Right.
I telling you the truth, not everybody's like that. And not
Exactly.
everybody's like that. And I'm not
Yeah.
even talking about
Yeah.
myself here. Not everybody is like that because there are legitimately a lot of women who have higher libidos than men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
That
Right?
is true.
But two, for a long time, because we have grown and we have been raised in a culture of hypersexuality, right? Where everything is sexualized and everything is normalized when it comes to misogyny, when it comes to sexual harassment, when it comes to indecent approach to women and to men, just because our culture is so sexualized, we now think that most men, all men, think about is sex right through.
Yeah.
But I can tell you
Yeah.
from a man's perspective, when I am not in a good headspace, if I worrying about something concerning finances, if I have a deadline that I have not met,
Right.
That
if I
blood
just
not
believe that I am
rushing to your
feeling
second
something,
head at all.
sex is the girl, that
Yes.
blood not reaching. You could come and you could try to touch, you could try to come and stimulate and
wouldn't
whatever,
work.
It
That
will
blood
happen.
Yes.
It will
Yeah.
stopping
happen.
short.
and that head incommunicated.
Yeah.
And it,
Correct.
honestly, it's gonna, and some women go as far as to say, well, oh, you're not into me and you're into somebody
It's you.
else
Correct.
because you're not coming around me, because the expectation is because you're a man, you're supposed to be so tempted and pulled in by
All the time.
sex
All the
to
time.
come and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, all the time, but that's not the case.
That's not the truth.
And,
That's not
and look
true.
at
That's
this,
not the
right?
case.
On the opposite side of the coin, I could talk from my area. I grew up in Mayaro. I have heard it many times. I have heard it from older women.
Mhm.
It's as though if you are giving sex, eventually he is going to come around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's not true.
Oh.
That's
That's the
not true.
expectation.
But it is the expectation. Yes.
And it's a distorted expectation. So mine's better than yours. So both of we know we have the same man. And
Yeah.
expecting something, expecting that whatever tricks I flip is going to make him come to me.
To you,
And,
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you hold on in this relationship. Let me tell you something. I see real people in Guaguari, Mayaro. I didn't
Boom.
call no names. So if it falls in your
No
garden,
names.
I'm very sorry.
Pick
I'm
it
going
up
to go
and
ahead.
plant it.
Disclaimer. I have seen a lot of women
Yeah.
with the same man. All dating Mr. Kenny. One is the wife, one is the side chick. right?
thought he wasn't
And
calling
you
her names,
hold
niece.
on to
All of a
Sorry,
sudden,
yeah.
Mr. Kenny, somebody grandfather again.
Like
Yes,
Jesus.
Wale,
It has
we
somebody
just
watching and say
generally
how she
calling
would
him
talk
Mr.
about
Kenny.
Kenny. How she bring
Right.
up Kenny name in this.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry if there's a Mr. Kenny out there. I'm really sorry. But
That's the village
all
ram.
of
It's
us
not you.
holding
It's not
on to
you,
the
sir.
same man.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
of us holding on to the same man, thinking that one day he will change. And I
Exactly.
have seen women get old and gray,
And
still
still waiting
loyal
for
to
that
a
change.
man, still waiting
That's
for
not
change.
loyal to them.
Loyal to a man who is not showing you any
Any
respect at
kiss-
all.
Standards.
Not
Yep.
When you
showing
talk about
any. Let me tell you
expectation
something.
and standards, that is
Yeah.
what we talk about
Exactly.
standards.
Yeah, but
The
let me
standards
tell you
is I
about this,
expect to
eh?
get a man. That's the expectation. I expect to get a man, but the
But the
standard,
standard is what type?
quality a man
Yeah.
you receive
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I realized
Exactly.
with our Caribbean parents? They mix up standards and expectations so much that now standards no longer exist, and it's just the
Go there, Jess, go
expectation.
there.
That's right.
Go there.
That's
So
right.
let me just
Correct.
touch this. I tell a little night I coming out to step toes, and I really don't give two rats bottom tonight. I really don't care.
We're ready.
Oh well. So our parents, right? So so it came from our parents and their mistakes. And this
Right.
is why I would say that. Because parents choose who they choose. And
Yeah.
they went through what they went
Right.
through. But then because
Right.
you went through what you went through and you didn't get the fairy tale that your mother stored in your head, you feel you want to come and
Right.
fool me now to look
Yeah.
at something from flowered freaking glass windows. No, it's not gonna happen. It didn't happen for you, it didn't happen for your mother. So what make you think I will be the one to get this
Yeah.
fairy tale that
Yeah.
I'll make up in
Yeah.
all mind?
Yeah, and talking about fairy tales. And talking about fairy tales. In 2021, I get my daughter, she not into the whole, she literally asked, but she will literally watch it and say, but that's not making any sense. How long
Right.
is she in this tower? So who feeding her? So
Yeah.
which part this man just come from? She
Critical
literally asked
thinking.
those
Critical
questions.
thinking.
Exactly. But in times before, generations before, remember they would have been absorbing these fairy tales. And here you are,
Exactly.
Yeah.
dabble in
Yep.
distress.
And the
And it's
man will
always
choose
a
to
woman.
save you.
Listen, oh my, look at me. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. And I'm in distress. I need saving. It doesn't exist. It does not
Yeah.
exist.
You see, what we're talking about is the social conditioning,
Never
right? You see,
existed.
yeah, is the social conditioning we're talking about. And you know, one of the biggest revelations for
concept.
me was that we talk about society being at fault for a lot of things, right? And we know that society
Yeah.
is divided into different systems. We have the church, we have the home, we have school, we have culture, we have the world of work,
Yeah.
right? So we know that we have these systems theories, and we know we have the society as a big, well-oiled machine that is churning out all of
Right.
these expectations. So because you're telling men be this way, you're telling females be this way, to the point where we have toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. Nice.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But the funny thing
Yeah.
is, just like Anissa's daughter, when are we going to come to the point of critically thinking and understanding that
Yeah.
what society say is
Right.
not what we have to do? Because society have a way. They will tell you to be this way and turn around and judge you for being that way.
Exactly.
Ex-
And
Exactly.
bigger than that,
Yes.
we are society. So when we start to do differently and we start to interrupt the patterns and we change
Yeah.
the narrative,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then
Correct.
society as a whole is going to change. But we
Right.
can't
Correct.
operate in silos, Olia.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, and I think a real big and important part of this, especially where expectations are concerned, right? You see that communication factor and that ability or that willingness to ask somebody what they want and then believe what they tell you. That is where we disconnect a lot of times. Because let me tell you
Thank
something.
you.
If you come and you ask me, if a man is interested in me and he comes to me and says, hey, Keela, you know, I really like it, da, 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 da. And I tell you, sir, here what happened? We could have some fun, you know. But I don't want a relationship. I'm not in that
Chop the
space.
trees.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm not in that. I
Yeah.
don't want a relationship. I don't really believe in relationships and things. So I cool. If you want to have fun, we could do that, but that's where I'm at. Here's the
Yeah.
disconnect. he hears that, all he hears is I interested in him, right? And
Right.
thinks that over time I am going to change or I am going to change my mind. So when he
Correct.
invests time with me and resources in me, and I say,
Yeah.
no, but I tell you that is not what I want, he vex. And
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of times it happens with women too. You meet a man and the man
Yes.
tell you, sis, I don't really want a relationship, and I know that.
Yeah.
And rather than accept that and
Yes.
believe him when he says that, we try to convince them otherwise. So we go
Because
out
their
of our
example tried
way.
to convince them, Keela. They
Yeah.
watch their
But what I'm saying is, this is what we need
example
to
and their
change.
experience tried to convince.
That's right.
Yes, I mean, so that experience.
Yeah, this is
example
where the
tells something else.
change has to happen. At this point, believe people when they tell you what they want in a relationship. If a man tell you, and let me tell you something, men, let's be
Yeah,
open. If a
right.
man tell you, hey, all I want is sex. Sis, you can have sex with him 10 times, 10,000
He not
times,
going
50
to
different positions.
be
All
with
that
you.
man wants sex, and when sex done, that's it. You're not going to love the man.
Exactly.
So it's either you
Because-
accept that that's what he wants and agree to that, or you walk away, and that's another issue with expectations. I don't know why we're so afraid to say, you're not the person for me, where relationships are concerned.
Correct.
And
You don't
walk
want to
away.
break nobody's heart.
Wait,
Or you
let
either
me
breaking
get
your own
this.
heart, Delhi.
I will get it.
Listen,
This serious joke
action.
from being in the US, from being in the US, and from what I experienced, because I know I grew up in the US, right? And it's not until the US I experienced this. So in Trinidad, I went to school in Trinidad, but I finished at Form 3.
Right.
And then I end up coming to the States. So when I come in the States, because I'm not there right now, right? So in the US, I went to high school there. Boom, 9th grade. Something was happening I didn't understand. It was like girls was sharing books. They're sharing books. And I was like, well, if
Right.
I'm sharing books, I like to read. Pass a book for me too. So this is when I was introduced to something called urban fiction books. Now, let me tell
Right.
you something about
Right.
these books, right? These books is real thuggy relationships, like street relationships based on
Right.
gangster love, like real love and gangster things.
Right.
And,
Right.
most of us in high school
Right.
started looking for the thugs in school.
Right.
And we
Go there.
wanted our
there, please.
relationship
Yeah.
to be based on what
Emulate that.
we read.
Red. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
We wanted
Yeah.
if you wasn't wearing the latest, we don't want you.
Damn.
I don't care how
Exactly.
good looking or how ugly you are. If you're not
Yeah.
selling drugs, sir, I don't want you. If you're not
Right.
putting me and my life at risk, I don't want you.
Yeah,
All
that's
based
it. Yeah.
on these books that we
Books.
were reading
That we
from
read.
9th grade to 12th grade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
also have the women who read these
Right.
romance novels and
Exactly.
they expect
And they
this
want the
knight in
Prince
shining
Charming.
armor and the prince charming and the
That's
man who
correct.
go and be all over them and communicate and talk
Correct.
all the time. And
That's
if they
correct.
only
That's right.
think
And
to
it's-
cry, he don't know. And he
Yes.
come in to make sure tears
Exactly.
drop from the eye. And you
And he's
walk in
reading
and
your
pick up the
mind.
people boy child and expect him to do this. And when he start falling short, you vex and you can't even pinpoint why you're upset.
Exactly.
All you know is this
Yeah.
man getting you vex. He just
I-
getting you vex because you have an unrealistic expectation for this
Expectation.
poor man. Leave the people
Correct.
trying alone.
I
He's
feel-
not a Milzambu
I love-
man.
Yeah, I love the point that you made, Keela, about actions matching words. A
Yeah.
man or a woman can't say something to you and you run with that, seeing the opposite and expecting change. That is insanity.
Change.
The type of
That's
person
madness.
I am, there is not a man. I have not dated the whole planet. So I will just say, when I say the planet, you know exactly. Please no. Right?
All right.
There is not a man on
Alright.
this planet who could say that Anissa Paul ever led them on. Here is why.
Yeah.
Is
yeah.
either I am interested or I am not interested.
Not
I
interested,
remember a
right.
young man, exactly, a young man head over heels. I'm gonna tell you, he would do anything for me. And I
Right.
found
Nice
it on
to Nisa.
but I'm
Ebony
My
boy.
girl good, they good,
Ebony
yeah?
boy.
I am all a while. I am thinking in my mind, if I lead this man on and I know in my heart that I don't want him, how would I feel if the tables turn?
Button.
So let me give all an example. Homeboy, we
Understand.
teaching music together. We in St. James. Earlier, I
No
from
names. You can call it no
Narrow,
names.
right?
I
No
felt you
names
should
will
drop
be called,
names.
right?
I just
So
want the
let's
names.
stick with Mr. Kenny. So Junior Kenny decide
wow.
after
And
the
ex-villager.
class.
Mm.
So he's like, so how you getting home? I will drop you home. Mind you, earlier, Mr. Man live in Arima.
No.
I live in
Get
Mayaro. We in St. James. Do the maths. You have to leave St. James, pass your house in Arima
Lisa.
to go Mayaro and then drive back to Arima. In
What
my
time of the
mind,
day
I
this
am
is?
like, this is
Aduna
like
man
6 in
processing.
the
Aduna man processing. What time of the day
It's
this
like
is?
6 in the evening. 6 in the evening.
That-
6 in the evening. Right?
That
I-
doable. That could do. That could do.
Wow.
That doable. In man
I
processing,
automatically-
that's
That
okay.
okay. That okay.
That okay.
Listen, so I know he likes me and I didn't want to give him hope. I wait till everybody, the crowd disappears and thing, and I pull him aside and say, thank you. It's a kind gesture. But if you're doing this for brownie points, it is not going to work. Because I know you are dropping me home with the
So we take it closer.
intention
Yeah.
of getting in the door. You understand?
Yeah.
And I rather break
Because
your
the
heart now.
expectation is that he will come around.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. That is right,
rather
Daddy.
break-
The
It
expectation
has some
rather
men
you
who do
feel
the gentlemanly
no.
things because we expect all it to come around.
Listen, you da come
Correct.
inside, sit
rather
down,
make it
have a cup
sit
of
now.
tea, and then when the time done, I
Nah.
ask you when you're going home.
Lisa, you and Jason,
It's
you
a-
good.
it's
You was dropping me
No.
by the door. Well, thanks so
No,
much.
there's the thing. There's the
I
thing.
appreciate
What-
it.
What I'm just introducing there, right, is another big expectation to that we had to talk about, and that's the expectation of integrity. You see, integrity
Yes.
Yeah.
with your
integrity.
actions matching
Yes.
your words. And Keela said something
Yes.
earlier, which is very important too. And she said, when somebody tell you what it is, believe them.
Yes.
Because just like Anissa said,
Believe it.
sir, homeboy, my brethren, I not on you. I let you know one time.
For me.
And he ought to believe her, right?
One
Yes.
time. Yes.
Now, this is the part. The part is when somebody tell you what they want. You ask them for the vulnerability. You
Right.
ask them for the tell them about
Right.
the expectation for communication. And you create, this is the thing now, you create a safe space, which is a big form of manipulation too in some relationships,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You create this safe space, but it's not a safe space with a
Yeah.
safety net. It's a safe space with a trap.
Right.
Because I want to open you up and I want to make you vulnerable. I want to make you trust me. I want to make you tell me the things
Yes.
that you want. Tell me the things that you expect. And then I'm going to turn around and do the
Correct.
same things against you.
Yeah.
I have
Correct.
something to say.
Same
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And we could go down the road of narcissism. We could go down the road of,
Ooh.
you know,
No.
egotistical
No,
men.
We go
But
down the
what I'm
road of
saying
this.
is, no, what I'm saying is, and I'm talking about, I like to hold men accountable, right? We men, we tend to do that because we ask women what they want, we wine and dine, and we try to find out what they want. And then when you tell us what you want and what kind of man you want, and I show you that for a little bit, boom.
Right.
You know
I turn
what
around
they're
and do the same
saying? We have a
things.
saying in the
Yeah.
US. I'm not sure if you guys have it in the UK,
No
in
integrity.
Trinidad. But you know where they say, I want you to be my wife and girlfriend, but you're not my wife and girlfriend.
What I mean.
I want you
Yeah.
to act like
What
if
is
you
that?
give me everything, do everything for me as
Yeah.
your wife and as a wife. Do
Your wife
everything
treat
for me
man.
as a wife.
Your, boy,
Yeah.
your husband treat
Treat
man.
me like
Without
a
husband
man.
commitment.
With no husband
go on?
commitment. But
No, sir.
whenever you ask
What you
like, hey,
see?
what's going on? Yeah. Nah, we just messing around.
No. That's
Yeah.
that's why I
But
say
is
you
it-
have
That's
to
what
have
a lot
the
of men do.
conversations up
Is it
front.
unlikely for men to think that though? If a lot of women are still giving you the wife treatment, and I cooking food for you, I doing all these things for you as though we are living together in house, and you have given me, the man has given you no commitment,
That make
but
no
the
sense,
woman
though.
continue doing it. Why, Ole?
I
Tell me.
have a
And I'm
question.
an inquiring mind.
After.
Tell me.
Because they think that you need to show a man your
That is
wifely
wife material.
qualities
Yeah, paint the
exactly
picture.
in order for him to be attracted to you.
it's like a choose me concept. Like you wouldn't be yourself, just be yourself,
It's
and
what
wouldn't
I
have
call the
boundary and
milk
say,
or
yo,
buying
I don't
cow.
want this. Listen, this is what I
Correct.
want. If you can't give me this, then leave me alone, right? A lot of women are willing to say that because we still have this concept that a man is supposed to choose us, and we learn that. We learn that
Yes.
men go around and they choose us. So then we sit
Correct.
back and we say, okay, look, I could cook and I could clean and I do
Yep.
this, and you're not doing
You
these
say
things
all
because
the
it's
right
naturally
things.
what you're doing now. You're doing it as an impression
Yes.
now, and then you expect it to show it to nobody who cooking for him like this. Nobody ain't dropping lunch for him like that. But the man tell
Yes,
you they know
man.
what he want. Stop trying to get
Listen,
That just prove a point. That just prove that men do the same thing that women do. We just do it a different
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we
they
both
do.
doing both sides doing
Absolutely
the same
correct.
thing.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You see this thing with toxic masculinity
We
and toxic
both
femininity?
expecting the same things,
Yes.
Let me
but
tell you something. It is degenderized for me.
Yeah.
Toxicity,
Yeah.
Across the board.
dysfunctionality,
Across the board.
inability to
Across the board.
communicate, lack of vulnerability. It is across the board. And I think
Yeah.
that is one of the ways that we conquer expectations and we make more sense in relationships when we
Yes.
understand
Yeah.
that what you want as a human being, I want the same thing.
Yeah.
The same communication you want, I want
Yeah.
I
it.
want it.
The same
Yeah.
integrity you want, I
Yes.
want it. The
Yeah.
same security you want,
Reciprocity.
I want it. That's right.
Correct.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
I want it.
which-
That's it. We have a the flip
which-
side when a person does not tell you what they want and get vexed when you do not do what they're expecting. Mind reading much? Nonsense. It's true.
Yeah.
Mind reading thing is nonsense.
And they
Trade
can't work.
away. Come,
Let me
go,
tell you
watch
something.
me.
They can't work.
My
Trade
father,
away.
last name is Paul. It is
Oh.
not Professor Xavier. I cannot read your mind. Okay, say what you want. But I like the point. I like the point Keela made about reciprocity and what is healthy and what we
Yeah.
should be
Yeah,
expecting.
what we should do.
What is
Yeah.
healthy? Keels, give us some pointers because all you know we could talk all night. And
Whole
listen,
night.
you know, I love our audience, right? Because our audience is being engaging and they'll be like, no, 1 hour, 2
All right,
hours.
go ahead.
So,
All right.
what are some reasonable expectations? Let me
Right.
get into that.
Okay, so if we're looking at reasonable expectations, right? And I know we spoke about different things like how we communicate and things like the affection and all these things we want from a partner, right? But I
Right.
think when we start talking about reasonable expectations, it's so closely tied with managing expectations as well, right? And in a relationship, you have to be willing to do some introspection. You have to be
Right.
willing to ask yourself and decipher whether what you are asking of that person is unreasonable or not. And I feel like that happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of us, rather than do the work
Right.
on ourselves to be the type of people that we are happy with and that we can bring ourselves a certain level of joy and happiness and peace, we map that onto our partners and we say to them, we expect this from you. And then when they don't give it, we are angry. But if we stop and think, a lot
feel
of times,
unfulfilled.
some of our expectations are unreasonable. And unless and until you are willing to be honest with yourself, to say that what you are
Yeah.
asking of this man or asking of this woman is unreasonable, you're going to always run into problems. You're going to always expect people to
Yeah.
fulfill a need that only you could fulfill, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
the other thing is in terms of reasonable expectations, you should not compare yourself or your partner to other people. You see that comparison thing?
Yeah.
It will kill you.
Comparison
Yeah.
kills.
It will kill
Yeah.
you. You cannot come into a new
Yes, it
space,
does.
come into a relationship and say, oh, well, you know, my last man used to do this and he used to, and you're comparing every little thing and then expecting this person to measure up. I literally had somebody give me a speech.
Killer, you
about
deserve a
woman.
clap for that, girl.
Bring it, bring it.
Yeah, I'm going fed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You clap it.
we can't do the comparisons. And I've had somebody who did this. Here's how we did it. We were having a conversation. He was like, you know, well, it came down to a black woman thing, right? About black women being assertive and
Right.
Yes,
And you know, the
moving
reason
on.
why I don't date black women is because all they just want to do all their own thing. And not the
Next
only, and he
one,
started
Sandy.
talking about some ex who wasn't a black woman, who he could have just tell what he want, and she would have just do it and then backtrack and and after the whole thing, I turned around. I said, "Well, what you have is a black woman. So what
And
you
it's a
plan to
pull-up.
do? What we doing?" Because sir, I opinionated bad, and me I shut my mouth. So we're gonna have some conversations, right? But that comparison
no
thing that
comments.
kills us. That kills us, right?
And
Yeah.
it's,
The other thing is, and Delhi touched on it. Delhi touched on it earlier.
Right.
Is that willingness to have honest conversations?
correct.
And from the jump,
Yeah.
I think what happens is that because we are, and somebody said it in the comments, we are on a marketing campaign where we meet people that we like, and you want to be with somebody, right? So you're trying to market yourself a particular way. And because we are focused on doing that, what we do a lot of times is that we say what we think the other person wants to hear. So a man starts complaining about issues he's had with women or issues he's having with women, and we all of a sudden champion because
Right.
that would never be me. I would, sis,
Take your
calm
time.
down.
Take your
Calm down.
time.
Let me match some breaks. Let me
Let's
match
take your
some
time.
breaks. Because
Introspect.
you might very well be that
Yeah.
person. You don't know. Wait and
Exactly.
see, right? And it's the same thing. A woman starts confiding in a man and saying, you know, my man do this and that. Girl, them fellas say know what they're doing. I could never, because we're marketing ourselves and not willing to have the honest conversations. We're not willing from the jump to say to a man, hey, I don't believe in marriage. Why? Because you think that he not going to choose you. So you trap him, as Delhi
Exactly.
say. You manipulate the situation. Hear all that he wants. You trap him. And then after the fact
Yeah.
now, you're upset with him when he choosing otherwise. And the same goes vice versa.
Vice
So
versa.
regardless of what our expectations are, if we are not willing
Yeah.
to see if one, they're reasonable, two, if
Yeah.
we're not willing to pull back from comparing what we see other. I watch a Nissan She-Man and I say,
Yeah.
why you can't be like
No
he?
watching.
You notice he does hold up she hand in public. Why you ain't holding my hand? What you doing, sis? Let your man be your man.
Yeah,
Now. Let the
you're
man
setting
be.
yourself up.
Stop. Ease him up. Ease him up. Ease him up.
Let him
Right?
be who he needs to be.
And you have to be willing
Exactly.
to be vulnerable and be honest. And being honest is something that scares us because we believe that if we are honest and this person walks away, nobody else will come. And that is a lie. That is a lie,
Yeah.
because I am telling you, it is better that somebody walks away and you realize, I'm not saying no, let us fight and cuss out and vex with each other. You know. You could realize
Yeah.
this is not my person. This is not going to be my
Correct.
person, and let that person leave and leave room for when the right person comes along. That is better
Yeah.
than lying to somebody, manipulating someone, having them commit to you, and then you cannot live up to the expectation and the dream
expectations.
that you sold them.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
killer.
I
Claps
love
to you
that,
tonight, girl.
I love that.
Watching that little
because
pepper
a lot
sauce,
of-
or that pepper sauce.
Yeah,
Zing it.
yeah.
Zing the convo tonight.
A lot of times, Akila, people
Mhm.
hold on to that one person, hoping that if I continue to do X, that person
Yeah.
over time is going to change. Listen, there are billions of people in this world. That one person may not be your person.
7 to be exact.
And
7
listen.
you do not, you do not have to flip through hoops and do all these excessive things and take yourself out of character. Change who you are
Listen.
completely just to accommodate this one person.
One person.
There is
Because
somebody.
if somebody
That's true.
like
somebody
you,
for everybody.
no, but
it.
if somebody like you, they like you. If somebody
They
don't
like
like
you.
you, it's
Correct.
nothing you could do to
You
make
do.
them like
Don't
you.
pretend, though.
You see,
Exactly.
only two, what
Exactly.
that's connected to, a lot of people are afraid of the unknown,
Yes,
right?
that
And I
is true.
tell
Right.
people, when you want
Yes.
to raise your standards and you want to gauge your expectations to see if it's realistic, your expectations and your standards, those things must be in alignment with your core values.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what your core values are, if
Yeah.
you don't know what are your inflexible truths, what are your baselines, what are
Yeah.
the things that you are not negotiating on, don't know what these things are, then you
Yeah.
can't form standards and you can't
can't.
have
Yeah.
right expectations.
That's
You
true.
know, we used to
Yeah.
say this thing and we used to tell people, if you wanted to filter your expectations, measure yourself and see if you can match up to your own list. And there
Yeah.
are some egotistical people out here who will tell you, I can't match up to my
Yeah,
own list.
yeah.
But going back to what we're
Yeah.
saying at the start, right?
Yeah.
That it's not
Yeah.
about matching up to your own listener, but it's about learning the other person. Because
Yeah.
when values align, even when core values align, right? And it means that at the bottom, at the base of everything, you all have the same belief system, you all have the same ideals in common. Even when those things are aligned, on an individual level, you all are different. Personal culture, family upbringing is different. These things are different, and that is what you need to pay attention to. Can I deal with the differences?
I think when people get into,
you understand what I mean? You understand what I mean? How do we communicate when I am not at 100%? Can I guarantee that you would also be at your 100 so that you could, support and encourage me? So sometimes we focus too much on the ideals. Yeah, we focus.
Because this is why I would say that
it's not a reasonable expectation, JC.
It's unreasonable.
No, I will say this. We have to understand this, right? At the end of the day, we wasn't joined at the hips.
Correct.
The person you pick to be your partner is individuals, and is an individual. We come in with our things from our past, and that person comes in with that thing from their past and their whole thing, and we come together and we do. But at the same time, yes, you have expectations and you have your standards, but then are you willing to do what it takes for yourself? Because you first have to be that if you want to ask somebody else to be that for you.
That's right.
Meet your own expectations.
Are you willing to do that for yourself?
A rule for me is do not require from somebody what you are not willing to give.
Exactly.
You cannot.
That's right.
You can't do that. You're not giving that, but you are hoping that person would give that to you. Insanity.
And here's what I'm saying.
Yourself up.
With an expectation too, I think it's important as well to have people around you who would help you to see when your expectation off, right? And I want to tell her this story real quick. Auntie Sherry on here, and she do me this. And at the point in time, I was angry. I was annoyed with her. I was annoyed with Auntie Sharon for this, but I learned such a valuable lesson from that, and I still carry it with me even today, right? So I dated this guy, dated boyfriend, girlfriend, right? That time I living by Auntie. So Auntie is telling me nothing. Auntie watching the scene, and all this time, Auntie like, how this not making no sense. This is the two of them not making no kind of. She ain't telling me nothing. She leaving me to my own devices, right? So one day now we talking. Auntie go watch me and let me know straight. And Auntie just stop playing. I'm a girl. Auntie say, Kila, you know that is a very nice young man, and he have the potential to be a very nice husband to a nice girl someday. She said, but now is not the day, and you are not the girl. Watch me. I'm like, Auntie Sharon, why you want to do this? Why you can't just be happy for my relationship? Why it is you? Listen, she didn't lie. We were polar opposites. The man was quiet like a mouse. Quiet as simple as like I running all over this little man because all you see my personality. Big and bold, bright, and he was so very introvert. It wasn't working. By that point in time, I was like, no, I think he have a loud side. He just not comfortable yet. And I waiting, but Auntie let me know. And she was like, no, it's not the time. And you are not the girl. And so now when I step into spaces, especially with men, I evaluate that. I'm like, listen, where is he at? Where am I at?
Compatibility or the compatibility.
Yes, it's now the time, and is that the person? And that helps me to step back very quickly, because I not go and run into something and 3-4 months down the road, my heart broken and I cry in tears. No, from early. I am asking myself these questions and realizing, so that's not going to work. Let me just pull back from this and leave it.
Be mature enough to stop choosing people based on convenience, which is how it feels, and measure situations based on compatibility, which is how it fits. That's what I mean. How it feels is nice too. That's pleasant, and that has its place. But how it feels is not what is going to carry the long distance.
That's right.
Because love is not enough.
Love is not enough. And the emotions at the beginning, there's be a lot. The emotions at the beginning, there's feel like and then give it some time and you're like,
infatuation.
What she doing?
It's not enough. There are so many other elements of a relationship that will make it successful If you
Correct.
are basing this relationship and your decision to be with this person long term based on love, my friend, you are setting yourself up for failure, because there
Exactly.
will be days when this same person that you love is going to get on your very last
Last,
nerve. They are going to push
especially
that
when you're
button.
married.
Exactly. They are going to
Yep.
push that button that nobody else knows how to push but them. And then you have to make a choice to love that person. Love is not enough. And I
Enough.
feel
Exactly.
that is one of the biggest misconceptions. And the reason why things go awry, because we feel like when the feeling is gone, well, that is it. Or he
Mhm.
does make me feel, or when I am around
Yeah,
she
yeah.
does make me feel. Let me tell you something. Scientifically, that feeling and emotion only lasts 90 seconds. The
Yep.
rest of it is your choice to hold
But I
on
feel
to that.
I feel like we need to put a little clarity for somebody, because somebody
Right.
saying, "No, watching us," and say, "But how do I say love is not enough because love is the answer and God is love," right? So I
Right.
want to put a little clarifying point for somebody. Erotic love and romantic love is not enough,
Yes.
right?
That
Boom.
is
The
true.
Exactly.
agape
Yes. Yeah.
love, the unconditional love, the love
Yes.
that
Yes.
weathers the storm and the love that
Yes.
endures,
Right.
that is what should be a baseline.
It's
But do
love.
not go into
Correct.
a relationship believing that every single day is going to be run. Take it from me that every single day is going to be run on romantic love and erotic love.
Nope.
That's not the
Yep. You're right.
It's
You're
case.
not,
right.
it is not the
Agape
case.
love is whether the storm. And I just want to put this in right there. A big, big expectation that nobody would like to talk about, but I want us to get it tonight. You have to be friends with your person.
Oh,
You have to be friends.
Jesse, pull
And
out the
that's my
app.
expectation.
Yeah, yeah.
Be
Let me
my
get it.
Pull
friend.
out the app. Pull out the
Yeah,
app.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
my
yeah,
friend.
yeah, yeah. I had
Yeah,
to get
so I
that
mean,
clap for it.
don't just be my
Oh,
fairy tale
I
and
had
don't
to
want
get
to be
that
my
clap for you.
fantasy. Be my
yes.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Daddy.
Be
Yes.
my friend. Yeah, so
You
I
have
mean,
to be my
because
friend.
when you are my friend, on the days when I am very
Yeah.
unlovable, on the
Yes.
days when I
Yes.
can't even
Yes.
deal with me, you
Yes.
being my friend, having
Correct.
agape love for me,
Mm-hmm.
unconditional support and
Yeah.
understanding, you now could
Yes.
say, all right,
Exactly.
you're not in your best. I
I
notice
will
that you
add
unconditional
something to
love,
that.
Yeah,
I
and
will
that's okay.
unconditional.
add something to
So
that too, When you come back,
I
I
want people
hopefully I
to
get to
understand
add
what
it.
Lisa's saying. She's not saying that itself is not it and not
Yeah.
enough, right? But the romantic and the erotic love is not enough because there is so much more
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
must go into it
And
for a relationship to be
Yeah.
successful.
don't expect that friendship to be the friendship he have with the boys and the other people
Nope.
who we know for
Nope.
how many ever
Listen.
years ago.
Exactly.
All in not
Exactly.
in the
It's
same
not that.
bracket.
It's not that.
Don't do it.
It's
Don't do
not
it.
that.
Correct.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So
Yeah.
if you're excited
Yeah.
to see his
Right.
boys, that's him and his boys. You just be
It's a
happy
different.
that
It's a
you and
different
him could
experience.
communicate. It's a different friendship. It's a completely different
Understood.
friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fair.
Different friendship.
Mhm.
Listen,
That's fair.
guys, we reach our hour and 7 minutes, and we wind it
Yeah.
down. We still have so much to say.
So
like
I
this
know,
topic
right?
is going on for a
I tell
while.
her tonight would be spicy.
Exactly. But I
I
really
said it.
hope that you are learning something from this, because this is
Let's
not just
go.
old talk. Like seriously, guys, this is your life. This is the
Correct.
rest of your life. If you
Mhm.
really intend, if you have no intentions of being with no one single person, big up you. All right, cool. But you're gonna have to interact with people at some point in time. And
Yeah.
as
Exactly.
long as you are alive and breathing, expectations is a real thing. And managing
Yeah.
those expectations is a real thing. And apart from some of the points that Keela made earlier, Keela mentioned, having the right circle, having the right people around you who will pinpoint, this is not going to work.
Accountability.
There are some
Yes.
other things.
Yes.
Yep. There are some other things that I want to point out in wrapping up and winding down that is going to help you to have a successful relationship. Keela also mentioned earlier, do not compare your relationship to anybody else. We are all different. Your man is not going to be like your best friend's man. Do not do
So
that to
Johnny Lover
yourself.
Boy.
You are putting,
Yes.
yeah, you
Yes.
are
That's
putting
it, Johnny Lover Boy.
unnecessary stress on your relationship. Don't do that. Prioritize appreciation over expectation. Like, do you know that whatever you focus on, that is the only thing you would see? If you
Yep.
only focus on the one bad way, the one thing that irks you about your partner, what about the 99 million other things? Oh gosh, so you asked him to put on the vinyl since January and he put it down. But
Vinyl,
what
no.
about all the other things that he
Funny,
I just
sir.
say, I'm good.
In October,
Yes,
though.
sir.
Wait,
Mr.
the vinyl
Kenny,
from January and we in
vinyl.
October, or we like in
Hey,
February?
hey,
Because
He's what? He's what? Right? You ask him to do something since January, but he's been showing up for you in so many other ways, supporting you emotionally. Maybe this year was very hard. Maybe you wanted this nice, big, expensive bed head. Ladies, you know, all it can be a little expensive.
Well, you know they like a bed head.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know they like
You
a
know,
bed
like
head.
that. He's been doing other
Expectation.
things.
Ah,
Oh gosh, appreciation over
Yeah.
expectation. If you
Yeah.
I
want
love
this
that.
thing to last, you are going to have to learn how to let something slide. And
Love
when I
that.
say let something slide, I'm not talking about a big red flag. I ain't talking about
Not the
Carnival Friday,
non-negotiables.
big red flag. Not those, not the non-negotiables.
The
We're
little
talking
petty
about
Yeah,
things.
just
not those.
yeah, them petty things like you will have to be mature enough to let it go. Focus on
Yeah.
appreciation over expectation. Express
Yes.
things like compassion and show
Exactly.
respect. Be respectful. You can't be wanting to talk to your spouse anyhow and then expect loving when the night come. We ain't gonna go there. I would just leave that right
Hey, it
there,
has
right?
so many things I want to say, but the
What's
man
that?
part two,
Respect
Jen.
is part two.
It has
Part
too
two.
much. It has too much.
Part two.
Part
Respect
two.
is a part two.
Offend them and the unrealistic expectations and seeding it into your relationship with the
Sheila,
relationship team
Sheila,
themselves.
behave.
Part two.
Behave.
And I just had to hold my throat there. Yes, close my throat.
Listen, I don't want to stir no strife tonight, but I love you, right? Learn to demonstrate consideration. That's the next one. Demonstrate some consideration. It does not
Yeah.
always have to be about
Thanks, you
pat
know.
down a little bit. Okay?
A little thanks, you
It's
know.
not
You,
always
you bring some
about
water for my thanks.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Gratitude.
Exactly.
Gratitude.
Oh, you work hard today.
Gratitude.
Sit down. You work hard today. Sit
Correct.
down.
Yeah.
Relax yourself today.
Yeah, correct.
Little things.
Another
I
one
like
is
that.
devoting time.
Thank you.
Devoting yes, thank you. Devoting time to your partner, right? That's really important. Do not let your partnership become a side note. Make your relationship
Yeah.
priority.
Priority.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm,
That's
Yeah.
I'm
right. That's
saying
right.
it again. Make your relationship a
A
priority.
I agree with you.
That's
Snaps
right.
to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right?
Snaps.
Yeah.
Don't stagnate. This is another one that I really, really loved. And this one is from Tony Robbins, right? He said, learning how to manage expectations in a relationship is not a one-time deal.
Yeah.
You can't say it once. You can't say it once and expect that it will automatically be fixed. It is a continuous conversation. So, ladies
Just
and
like
gentlemen,
growth.
exactly,
Just like
you are going
boundaries.
to have to say,
Exactly.
just like
growth and
boundaries,
boundaries.
you are
Yeah.
Gotta
going to
keep
have to talk
communicating
about
it. That's correct.
Yep.
Correct. And as you grow, things would change. That person would change. Your mindset would change. It is a
Yeah.
continuous conversation that has to happen. So,
That's right.
guys, I feel like we will stop there for now. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do a part two. Who knows? Well, you know how
Listen.
Exactly.
Call it look out, Fred. Delhi.
I'm
You
here.
know, if it have part two, we call it your Delhi.
I am here.
As your plans Thursday night.
There's so much more to say. But we winding down, guys. I will start with my quote for tonight. My quote and what I want you to take away from all of this is a quote by a local poet in Mayaro. She said this a couple months ago. I heard her perform spoken word poet, and she said, "Perfection is a cup with a hole in the bottom of it. It will never be filled." I'll
Oh.
say it again, right? Perfection is a cup
Yeah.
with a
Snap
hole
it.
at the bottom of it. It will never be filled. The
Yeah.
goal is not to have a perfect relationship. You are not perfect. Your partner is not perfect. The goal is to be whole. The goal is to be healthy. And so
Yes.
you should have healthy expectations from your partner, and that way you will have a beautiful relationship. And I'm going to stop there. Right?
Yeah.
So, Jace, what's your ending quote for tonight?
All right. So I'll give all my quote and then I'll give all my takeaway like this, right? So my quote
Yeah.
tonight, it says, sometimes we create our own heartbreaks through expectations. And that is so true. One thing I would like you guys to take away tonight is that please don't expect other things from people that you yourself
Yeah.
not doing. If you cannot
Yeah.
do it for yourself, if you don't treat yourself right, if you don't do the things that for you, if you don't do the things for you that you want, please do not
Yeah.
expect anybody else to do it for you.
To do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's not
I
their
love that.
responsibility.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. So my
Matthias?
quote for tonight is you are not for everybody, and everybody is not for you, and that is okay.
Mhm.
And I feel like we need
Yep.
to get a lot more comfortable walking away from people and situations that do not meet our expectations nor our standards. Do not
Right.
lower your
Yeah.
standards to be
Yeah.
chosen. And if someone
Yes.
realistically cannot meet an expectation and your expectation is realistic for you and adds to your
Yeah.
peace in a relationship, honey, walk away. It is
Walk
fine,
your
Yeah.
foot
sir.
for
Walk
a reason.
away. It is fine. We are not
I
for
agree,
everybody, and
man.
it doesn't have to be that we are angry with someone or annoyed, or it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a rift. It could just be that, yo, you and I are not meant to be in this particular
Yeah.
space
Time.
at
Yep.
this particular time. Now is not the
Yeah.
time, and you are not the
Or
person.
the keys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, one shout
I
out.
love
Hi,
that.
Auntie Charlene.
I love that. I love that. So, Delhi, our guest for tonight, thank you for coming on. Could you please
Me,
share
thank
with
you
our
for having
audience your
me.
Take
final thoughts
away.
and your quote?
So my quote actually is something that came up tonight in the spot when we were talking about it. And that is, don't just focus on how it feels, focus also on how
Oh,
it fits. When I said that earlier, I was just
Right.
like, wow, that was good. So I want
Yeah.
to share that back,
Yeah.
right? But
yeah.
I read
Yeah.
something today. I read something today that really sparked my input for the discussion. It says that for expectations to be successful and healthy, three things must happen. The expectation must be communicated.
Yeah.
The expectation must be understood, must be fulfilled when it's reasonable, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to that point when I said that yes, you want people to meet your expectations. Yes, you want people to understand your expectations, and we expect them also to be reasonable.
Yeah.
But I want to really
Yeah.
put a plug in there for people to take the time to learn other people.
Yeah.
Just as Anissa said in another topic, she said that there are 7 billion people in this world. And so even with the 7 billion people, you might meet people similar to you, but you will never meet anybody like you.
That's
And
right.
Like you.
understand that that person is not like you, and that person is definitely not anybody that you would have been with before. So even if they
Correct.
resemble your ex in ways and in treatment, they are not your ex.
That's
They are
right.
someone
That's
else.
right. That's
But
right.
they
That's right.
might not necessarily be an ex, as Auntie Sharon say, right?
Ooh.
Take the time.
Ah!
Take the time to not just
Yeah.
focus on how it
Yeah.
feels, but do the work, do the introspection, learn yourself, fill up your cup, so that when you have your values, your beliefs, and your non-negotiables in place, you will understand if this is a relationship of convenience or one of
Yes. He had to get a clap for this
compatibility,
after.
and if it's worth your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clap for you.
Love
Clap.
it. Love it. Love it.
Claps all
Big
the
up
way.
all you.
Big up to you. Guys, the conversation was wonderful. It was a pleasure
Amazing.
being here again. Listen,
Shout outs.
love is not complicated. humans beings make it complicated. Don't complicate
Yes.
the thing this week,
Don't
right?
complicate the thing.
Until we see Ali again, let's give her a shout
Yeah.
out. Ooh,
Shout
so
out.
before we leave, shameless plug, make sure that you are following us on YouTube and IG. Join the family.
Yes.
Delhi history, boy.
Sincerely, her story. You need to be
Yes.
following us. That's one. Two, last week we told you all that we are doing a book and we are calling for stories, right, Keels? So
Yes. I hope you all started
then
writing.
we hear from you soon. Start writing
Yeah.
your stories, and we're gonna give you some more information on how you could submit those stories. But start writing your stories
it.
because
Yeah.
somebody needs to
Love it,
hear
love
what you have to say.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody needs to
Yep,
hear
yep.
from your story.
Yep. Yeah, love we big up. Oh,
Yeah. So we come out here to big up
recognize.
big up Auntie Charmaine because she's up, big up Auntie
Hey,
Charmaine
Yeah.
out here.
Auntie Charmaine.
Real
I
life
want to bring up my
guru.
cousins. My cousins who
Auntie
usually very
Jenny.
quiet.
Yeah.
And tonight they jump out themselves when I drop my story because all of them know the ex I'm talking about and all of them start a little mini thread. So I'm calling all you out. So Auntie Sherry with your good self, Whitney, Mr.
Big
Kareem,
up you, Auntie Sherry.
and Whitney and Kifa. I saw you.
Big up Auntie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And
All right.
regulars.
So we saying good night, Marcus. Good night, Dalton. Good night, Mummy and Paul. Good
Hey,
night, Charlotte.
Big up my mom who
And
was
we
on the
saw-
live,
Good night
Andre
to
Remy
Gwen.
Charles, big up Christopher
Hey.
Crossley,
Yeah.
big up Letitia
Yay.
Sylvester
Letitia
Charles, big up,
Sylvia.
big up, big up, big up.
Big up all earlier. Auntie
Nice.
Jeanette was on tonight.
all of them.
Big
The
up
YouTube
Brian,
was here.
people.
Oh,
YouTube
yeah,
people,
we have YouTube
thank
Miss Arlene
you
was
for
here
coming
too.
on. Miss Arlene, thank you
Yes.
guys. Oh my
Yes, Miss
God.
Ali.
But tonight
It's
was
a
awesome.
love.
We
It's
love
just
you.
a love,
It's
man. It's just a
amazing.
love.
Tonight was
Love you
amazing.
guys.
Yeah.
Our new people who jumped on
Yeah.
the comments, so we understand that there are some people who listen and don't always comment. Listen,
Yeah.
we're glad that they're getting comfortable. We're glad. So big up. If it was
We
your
love it.
first time commenting, thank you. We love having you.
Thanks for
Loved
coming.
it.
man. It
Yeah.
was awesome
Yeah.
tonight.
So
Tonight was
guys,
great.
thank you all for coming. We love you immensely. We love you.
Yeah, big
Come
hugs.
back next
If I
week,
could have
and
two hugs.
also
Yeah,
just
I can-
remember, if you missed the
struggling.
episode or you want to share it with a friend or a family member, listen, share it. It's on Facebook. Share
Watch it at your
Share it with your
leisure.
friends.
That's
Share
it.
it.
That's your
Come
leisure.
back and watch it again. It's no scene. We ain't go back
Yeah.
if you watch it twice. Right?
Yeah, no, Alice,
We
see
love
Marcus,
all
this
of
was
you
his first
now.
time.
Oh
Marcus,
gosh,
really?
Marcus, stop this. Stop it.
All right, guys.
Bye, Keisha.
And that's
All right,
Keisha.
guys.
Call it a
Hasta la
night.
vista.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Good night.